To an Aquaba. It's your man, King Anan over here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you've been watching and enjoying my content, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go ahead and check out the rest of my content. If you like the content, please make sure that you like the video, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is free. So I want to thank you so much for enjoying the content. So today, I want to talk to you about the experience of a friend of mine who visited Ghana some time back, and we're going to talk about his experience about what happened while he was there in Ghana. And the reason why I wanted to share this video with you is because over the last few years, there's a lot of people in the diaspora who are connecting with the continent, visiting countries like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, and so many other different countries in Africa, and I having all these new and different experiences that they're not used to, especially if you're from the West, you're from a place like Canada or the United States or any other country in Europe. Things are pretty structured. The infrastructure is structured in such a way that things work like they're supposed to. We're used to having an orderly type of system. But in countries in Africa, things are a lot different. Okay, things don't work the same way that things work in a country where you're coming from. So, there's going to be a lot of new experiences. There are going to be things that you might do that are not accepted because it's an entirely different culture, different cultures and traditions. So I wanted to share this video with you all as a way of kind of like a cautionary tale, because if you're going to a place like Ghana, there might be some friction in certain things that might happen, certain interactions with people, with the local authorities, the law, for example. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring my friend onto the video, and he's gonna tell you his story, a little bit about himself, his story, and what happened to him. All right, so we've got my friend here. We're gonna talk to him, and he's gonna tell us all about his visit to Ghana, what happened. Danfi, thank you so much for joining me today on this video. No why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your backstory, where you're located now, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks for having me, by the way. My name is Danfi Parker. I actually grew up in the States, out in Virginia, lived out in Los Angeles, just a few places there, but West Coast and East Coast. I now live in Canada. I've been here for a few years now, probably over 10 years. I came to school originally when I moved to BC, and then now I live in Toronto, married, and in like 15 minutes outside of Toronto, so pretty close to the city. And yeah, I do podcasting. That's how I did a podcast with you, on King Anan. And I don't do it consistently. So if there's anybody on here who's listening who has interesting ideas who would like to engage with me, I'd love that. Specifically for if you live in the States, you grew up in the States, and you're a child of a migrant, migrant parents from the continent of Africa or anywhere else. I'd like to get stories from that and what that dynamics was growing up. But yeah, that's what I do, and I work on the side. I have a full-time job, and Ken and I have the same passion of just capturing stories and whatnot. So he brought me on to talk about my experience in Ghana when I got arrested. I look back on it now and I laugh. I wasn't laughing then. I was really pissed when it happened.
I could only imagine.
I was really pissed. So I went to Ghana. I went to Ghana in the beginning, right in the beginning of 2020. So I think I left Toronto probably January 25th and came back sometime in February. So I actually got back right before the shutdown of everything. Wow. If I was like maybe a week later, I would have been stuck in Ghana. So my wife and I got back to Toronto just in time. So it was great. But before I came, actually my wife came early. She came a week early. Unfortunately, her dad was dying from cancer, so she had to come early. So I was in Ghana like a week with my parents. My parents also came with us, and she was already here. This kind of goes into why I probably wouldn't behave the way I did if she was around. But so the whole story about how I got arrested is kind of funny, because I have cousins and friends back in Ghana, and one of my cousins, who's like a childhood best friend, we grew up together, he was having a beach party. And so here's the context of the story. I was flying out on Sunday, and I was invited to a beach party on the Saturday, but they told me like maybe like Friday or whatnot. So it was like a beach party that was probably like an hour and maybe an hour and a half away from where I was staying. And my brother lives in Ghana. It's my oldest brother. He's like in his 40s, like early 40s. He knows his way around really well. So he told me he would come pick me up, and I'd rented a like a SUV while we were there. So he was going to drive that and take me to this party, this beach party, on my last full day in Ghana. I was flying out on Sunday. So, so long story short, I was waiting for him to come pick me up, and my brother's like he's a hustler, man. Like, he hustles. You know where Circle is, right, in Ghana?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's one of the busiest spots there. My brother used to have a shop there. So he pretty much knows like most people around Circle. Like, he's always there. He sells things, right? He sells merchandise. He sells like shoes, he sells clothing, all that kind of stuff, right? So he knows people there, and he's always on the go. Always on the go. I was staying with my aunt, and the girl who works at the house, like, it's like a maid or whatever, she was like offering food for me. And I was like, well, I don't want to eat now because I'm going to be there in the beach party soon, and there's going to be food there. And so I kind of was like, oh, it's okay. My brother's coming. I don't need to eat. I'll get there and whatnot. I hadn't eaten anything. This is all part of the story. So then my brother, I'm waiting for my brother to get there. He's like, I'm coming. He had the car. I told him to take the car because he knows his way around, and driving in Ghana, if you're not used to it, is crazy, right? And my brother had stuff he had to do. Again, he's always selling stuff, doing things for people and stuff like that. There. So my brother ended up taking me back to Circle when he picked me up, because he's like, I have to do a few errands or whatever. And I was like, it's like, are you serious? Like, we're actually going the opposite of where we're supposed to be going. And it takes forever to get around in Ghana. Like, it takes forever.
Right. Because of the traffic.
In the car. It's hot. Yeah. You just spend way too much time in the car. Anyways, I was annoyed because I was like, I just want to get to this beach party, enjoy my last day here. And then we went to Circle, and he went to his friend's shop. His friend owns like a iPhone shop or whatever, and he's got iPhones, all this stuff. He sells other things in there too. And so I was sitting in there, like, he had parked the car in front of the shop, and you know how like there's very minimum space for parking because there's gutters, right? So in some of the spots they put the little metal plating over the gutters so you can drive up or whatever. So that's what they had done, and my brother drove up over the metal plating to the parking spot in front of his friend's shop, and he was like, wait for me, I'm gonna go do this thing real quick, I'll be back. I was like, okay. So I'm sitting in the car, it's hot. He's like, you know what, why don't you wait in my friend's store, there's AC there or whatever. So I'm sitting in the car, I got out, and I'm still waiting, man. I'm getting annoyed. I'm just starting to get hungry because I rejected food because I thought I would get to this party right away. So we're sitting there, and I'm waiting for him, and then he gets back, and by the time he gets back, it's like time's already gone. I'm already really annoyed at this point. And I think he could see that on me, right? And to like our right is a cop, and I think he was like it's like two cops or whatever. They were dealing with some guy, but there was a few of them that had like, I don't know what they were dealing with, but they were in our vicinity, so they were blocking us from getting out. Because, like I told you, the metal plating only like covers a few bit of like the gutter. Right. So if you have to kind of like, someone's blocking, you have to wait till they move to get out, because it doesn't go all the way across, right? Right. So we were trying to tell the police officer and the people, can you guys like move a little bit, whatever you're doing, can you move it over so that we can get out, right? And they moved over a little bit, but they didn't move over enough. And then my brother, he was kind of maneuvering, backing up a bit, and as he was backing up, this is a rental that I need to turn in the next day, right? The rental falls into the gutter, the part where the metal part isn't covering. Oh. So I'm like, already like the AC was like not working very well. So I was like, I don't know if I have to pay for that, because the AC wasn't great, right? So I was like, frick. So then this car falls in the gutter, and I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm pissed because I'm like, I hope this is gonna add to like some extra thing I have to pay for, right?
Right.
So then I think like a few guys help us, to get the car out of the gutter. He kind of trying to drives it over. He was revving it, trying to get it over, and then I get out of the car, and the cop is on this. I'm hungry. I'm hangry at this moment. I'm hangry, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, what's up with this? Like, what's up with these gutters? I was like, you guys need to do something about this. Like, this is unacceptable. Like, look what just happened, right? And then the police officer blew a casket. Like, he lost his mind. Like, first he looked at me like, kind of just like blank stare. And then something just snapped in his head. And he's like, who are you talking to like that? Like, he started speaking like, he's like, where you from? Do police officers take care of the gutters? And then there was like other cops around who all saw this altercation and came around. People at Circle were coming to my aid, pulling me away. They're like, leave him alone, because they started dragging me, like pulling me, like dragging me, saying like they're gonna take me to jail. So my brother's friends and a bunch of people at Circle grabbed me, and they were like speaking in Tree, like, Jano, Wanya Bibia, like, leave him alone, this is stuff like that. And they pulled me into the store. So they were like, stay in the store, and he won't come in here. He can't come in here. It's his property, or whatever or not. So I went in the store. My brother's like, don't say nothing. He's like, just don't say nothing. Just stay in here. These guys are carrying like hardcore guns on them too, right? These guys are
the AK-47.
Oh, AK-47s, like they're all like there, and then they're trying to barge into the store.
Right.
Guys are standing in front of the store, like blocking them, like don't, like, this guy's done nothing wrong. Leave him alone. Like, what's your deal? So the guy is like being the one that I talked to was like, what's going on? Like, you just caused my rental to fall into the gutter. Like, you guys need to fix this gutter. This is unacceptable. That's what I said. He has this gun, and he's being blocked by a bunch of guys. And he looks at me across the guys, and he says, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And I was like, what? I was like, it's not even that deep. Like, it's not that serious, Like, I simply just told you guys, you're the reason why my rental fell in the gutter. He goes and calls his friends, like the other cops, like 5 of them. King, and I'm not even exaggerating. They come, I'm wearing shorts, I'm wearing a shirt. They come and they drag me out of the store. I mean, like, by my shorts, like they were like, every one of them had a piece of my clothing. And I'm not resisting. Like, I thought this is literally like how white cops treat black people in the States. I swear. Right. It was wild. So they came into the store, they grabbed me by my clothes and yanked me out of the store and said, and all these guys are trying to stop him. All these guys are they're like, no. They're like, we're gonna teach this guy a lesson. Like, get out of the way. And then like all these cops. So they dragged me in the middle of Circle. Everybody's watching. It's a spectacle now. Everybody's watching. And they're in the middle of the street. They're dragging me to the cop car. And you would think that I committed like a huge crime. I mean, like I had stolen something or I had done something like menacing, the way they were like dragging me. So then they bring me to the cop car and they're still holding on to me. Again, I'm not fighting them. I'm not pushing. I'm not doing anything. They're holding on to my clothes, like not letting go. When they have guns on us, I have a cop right here and a cop right there sitting next to me, just like making sure, or I didn't know if they thought I was gonna hop out of the truck or something.
I know, right? Like, how could you at this point?
I know. I was like, I'm in here, like, whatever, like, chill. So I started telling them, I was like, you guys need to chill. And then my tree broke out. I started speaking in tree. So I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I didn't know my father said, like, I haven't done anything wrong. I mean, and then they looked at me, they're like, it's Uti tree. So they're like, so you understand tree and you speak to us like that? And then they were like, it's too late. Like, don't say anything. Just be quiet. Let's go. So then they drive me to this prison, like this jail cell. It was like probably like a few blocks away. And then they bring me in and they bring me into the back. There's like a front desk and there's a guy there. They drag me in the back and then they seat me on this bench. They tell me to take off all my, take my wallet, all my stuff and give it to them. And I'm like, well, first of all, I got money on me. I got stuff on me. I'm not trying to give it to you guys like that. They're like, you have to give it to us. Like, we're not going to take it, all this stuff. So at this point, my brother's over at Circle. And my brother, the good thing is, like I told you, he works at Circle, so he knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of connections. It's crazy. And then I'm sitting there and these guys are deliberating what they're going to do with me. And they're all like pissed. They're like, this is all based on one guy and another guy, all trying to teach me a lesson. Because essentially, looking back on it, what my brother said is like, they felt belittled by me because of the English I was speaking towards them. They were like, he's brothalizing. In other words, like he's showing that he's better at speaking English than us or something.
He's showing off.
He's showing off. Yeah, he's showing off because he's a good speaker or something like that, right? So they felt some type of way about that. And I think that was like the motive to treat me the way they did. So I'm in this behind the counter where people come to, and I'm sitting on this bench, and right behind me is the cell, and the cell is like very tight. It's probably like it's like a small apartment style thing, and it's dark, it's dungy. Once you walk into it, there's a shower to the right. There's a bunch of people sitting there, and then there's guys behind those guys that are in these like small dark hallways. Like it's dungy, it's hot too. So then they get to the point, they take off my stuff, and then they're like, take off your clothes and stuff like that, and get in the cell, get into your underwear. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean get into my underwear? Like, so they're like, the other one cop's like trying to, he's like, you have to take off your clothes and get into your underwear and get in the cell. It's like, it's wild, like the heck. And then one cop, after, I don't know, he had spoken to somebody, and they were like, no, you can keep, it's like, you can keep your shorts on, but take off, this and that. So I go in, into the cell, and the guys, right when I get in, the guys in the cell, there's a few of them, it's packed in there, all different ages, grown men, guys that are mid 20s and 30s, whatever. And the first thing they tell me, like, go into the shower and wash your feet, And then so I go and wash my feet, and then two big guys get in my face, and they're like, tell your brother to give you, because my brother came to the police station at that point. He was outside, I could see him.
Okay.
They're like, ask your brother to give you money because you have to pay a cell, like a fee in the cell. I'm like,
pay a fee for what?
To them. I have to pay a fee to them for being in the cell. So they're like, ask your brother. They're like, ask your brother to get money from me. And I'm like, I don't have any money. My brother's gone. He's not around you. And at that point, my brother had left because he was going to go find his people so I could get me out, right? These police officers aren't budging. They're not budging. So the guys in the cell are like trying to bully me and all that stuff. And they think I'm getting special treatment because I got to keep my clothes on. You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting there. I'm in there for a few hours now, right? And all I know is that I can hear, because you can wherever the counter is, it's not far from where the cell is. So you can hear what's going on, and I can see. You can go up to the bars or whatever to look what's going on. And I just overheard them saying that they wanted to, like my brother talking back and forth, that they wanted to keep me there till Monday. Mind you, my flight is leaving the next day.
Right.
So I'm in here not knowing what's going on, what's being talked about, what's discussed, but just hearing that and thinking, I'm screwed. Like, my parents have to fly out with me tomorrow. They're gonna leave, and I'm gonna be stuck here. And I was like, there's no chance I'm sleeping in this cell because it's already dark and dungy.
But I don't think your parents would have left without you, though, would they?
Well, again, it's a ticket, right? Yeah. Like maybe they probably. Here's the thing. I don't know. We'll never know, right?
Yeah.
We'll never know. I don't, because we went together. Like my wife and I, we got them a ticket to come with us, right? Because I wanted them to see their family and stuff. So if they had to go, they had to go, right? Because they had connecting flights back to the States, right? So if they had to go, but again, that's not something I have to think about because it didn't happen. Right. But I was sitting there the whole time, not knowing when I was going to get out. Not knowing when I was going to get out.
How many people do you think were in there?
In the spot that I was at next to the shower, there was probably like maybe 10 guys just in that spot.
Wow.
Right. And then behind them, there was like 2 hallways in between that little spot we're sitting. There was guys in there. So I couldn't really, I didn't like take a count, but I would say like maybe 20 plus guys in that small space. And I'm talking about a really small space, right? Yeah, it was probably about 20 guys, maybe more, I don't know. So I'm sitting here thinking, man, I'm like, dang it, like, and I'm like retracing my steps. I'm like, man, I should have said anything to that cop, you know, like, why did I even say anything? Like, and I started blaming my brother. I was like, why did you take me to Circle? We could have just went straight to the beach party. I'm missing out on the beach party right now that I could be enjoying. So I'm waiting to see what my brother would do. So my brother goes and finds like the chief police guy or whatever. Like the guy comes in, they call me out. This is after a few hours. And then they bring me across the it's like the little court, whatever they had, to another building. Down. And the police, the guys, like, they're still kind of deliberating what they want to do with it, right? This tall guy comes in, man, like tall, dark guy comes in, and he looks scary. I was like, what the heck is this guy gonna do? He was the nicest man. He looked at me and he's like, why would you talk to the police? He's like, why would you challenge the police officers like that? He was like, if you were in the States, you would have been shot.
Yeah.
You would have been, he's like, I see what happens. We see it here in Ghana, what happens to people there. He was the kindest man, man. And I was like, why did I deal with this guy when all this stuff was happening? He came in, and then my parents were talking to him, and my brother had called the guy that he knew, and they were trying to kind of deliberate with them to let me go and stuff like that. So I had to write a statement. They like pretty much like told me what to write. It wasn't me writing it. They kind of like dictated to me what to write. So then I wrote what they wanted me to write. And then they wanted a fee. That's the thing. I forgot that was a big thing. Sorry. That was a massive thing. They wanted a fee from us. They wanted us to pay some money to them to get me out. So they wanted my parents to pay, right? Or they wanted my brother to pay some fee before they would get me out. I don't know what the fee was, but they wanted money. So my brother, whoever my brother called that was going to get me out, said to my brother, don't give them any money. If they ask you for money, don't give them anything. So even when I got out and I was writing what they were dictating to me, I think they still, in the back of their head, wanted to get something out of me. The reason why they wanted to keep me in the prison till Monday was because they said the chief police officer had left for the weekend. And he was just there. He had left. And they used that, and it was like almost like a negotiating tactic of like, if you really want to get him out, pay this. And so they were blowing up this guy's phone. Whoever, like my brother, and I was like, the guy that my brother knew was blowing up this guy's phone because the chief police officer, because he knew him. And he was like, he wasn't answering. So they pestered him, and then he finally came to the station or whatever. And then this is when all this was happening. But the moment where like they finally decided to let me go was another guy my brother had called. I don't know what this guy does, King and that, but I just know that this guy had a lot of power. Like a lot of power. I don't know if he's like the biggest crook in Ghana or Accra, but when he showed up in like a Mercedes-Benz. Some girl was driving him. He showed up, came out of the car, just some regular guy, just came in. And all he did, like, just came into the office and pulled me. He's like, come on, let's go. And he just pulled me. And then they were like, the officer's like, whoa, wait, we're not done yet. We're not done. And he's like, no, he's going. Leave him alone. He's going. And they couldn't do anything. The guy somehow had this kind of power where they're like, they couldn't do anything. And they were all kind of annoyed because like they wanted to keep me. And he's like, no, he's not paying anything. Like, let him go. And
did you ever find out who he was?
To this day, I didn't. I just know that my parents, me, everybody was like thanking him. They're like, thank you so much. I didn't get his name, but my brother knows him. If I really wanted to find out, I could find my brother. Like, who's that guy's name? But my brother knows him. My parents were like thanking him. They're like, thank you for for getting him out and all this stuff. And then he came up to me. He's like, Master, in this country, it's about who you know. He's like, it's all about who you know. And then he was like, go enjoy the rest of you. The whole experience left a bad taste in my mouth. Like that whole night, I didn't say anything. I didn't talk to anybody. Like the way they handled that was very ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It didn't have to get to that stage at all.
That's quite an experience. Danfi, thank you so much for jumping on here and telling me your story. Yeah. Again, I just wanted to create this content just to kind of offer a cautionary tale to African-American brothers and sisters who are going to be traveling to Ghana, because there's going to be a lot more people from the West, from even Canada, Europe, going to be traveling to other parts of Africa. And things are a lot different than how it is over here in the West, because even if you get arrested, here in America or, in Canada, there's a system, there's a systematic way that things are going to happen.
Right.
But in Africa, it's not your home. You don't have your friends and family around, and, it could be a very confusing process.
Right.
So just, understand from this video, it's not to just paint Ghana or any African country in a negative light, but things happen. Things happen, and it's not the same as here in the West. So again, I just wanted to create this content just to, let you know some of the things that are going on. But if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give me a like, comment, subscribe, share this content with your, with your friends. But if you reach the end of this video, thank you, and keep watching this content, and we'll see you on the next video.